Hey guys, it's me Breakup. I'm back and better than ever, and this is my side of what happened and why I decided to leave. This video was really hard to come up with. It's been a while since everything kind of took off, as y'all might know, and I haven't really spoken my piece other than a few arguments here and there. So I basically wrote down exactly what I wanted to say, and it took a little bit of time, but now I'm ready to finally talk about it because I'm at peace. And yeah, so first I want to start with thanking everybody who has been here from the start and supported me and just had my back during all of this, because it was a tough time, I'm not gonna lie. And although I had an abundant amount of hatred towards me and, you know, people not liking what I did or my choice, I also had a lot of females that understood where I was coming from, because they're actually going through the same thing, and it's not a joke. It's draining. So let's just get right into it. I'm sorry I have to read off of this because it's a lot. So in my opinion, I felt like I had no choice but to leave. And as much as I wanted to stay, the love was just clearly not there anymore. The relationship became extremely toxic. I had to beg him for simple things like flowers, or, you know, for his time to go on dates, just to leave the apartment, really, to go anywhere. I think he felt that he was with me so often at home and, like, you know, all day, not going anywhere. I think he felt like that was enough time. But to me, just because we live together, that doesn't mean that we have to stop going on dates, or that means you have to stop, you know, giving me flowers, or just little things to show that you actually appreciate me, you know? I was tired of seeing the man I wanted on camera. And what I mean by that is he would put on this show for the camera, like he was just doing his all as a man to make me want to stay and to keep the relationship strong. And, you know, he would take me places on camera. We would go to eat and he would vlog it like if, you know, yeah, we're on a date, it's so amazing. But then when the camera turns off, it's just like we're sitting there in silence. There's nothing to talk about anymore, unless that camera's on. And that stuff would like make me sad, because like, why can't you be like that when the camera is off too, you know? The silence in the house was breaking my heart as well. I would be afraid to talk because I didn't know if he was in a good mood or not. I didn't know if he wanted to hear my voice or not. Sometimes me talking would annoy him because he needed his me time, or he needed like quiet. He just wanted his own space, I guess. His face was always glued to his phone as well, all day, like literally all day. And he always told me he was working, like, oh, I'm working, I'm making money, I'm this, I'm that. But like, I just felt alone in a house with him. And we're home all day together, but he would just be like this all day. And then, like, I would have conversations with him thinking he's listening, because he'll be going, And then when I'm done with the conversation, he'd be like, what? What'd you say? Because he wasn't paying attention the whole time. Whatever was in his phone was more important. So yeah, he never was listening. I started expressing my feelings towards this, and he would say I'm annoying, or like, shut up, like, you don't care, like, why are you telling me this? And then we started going to sleep facing opposite sides. We wouldn't even face each other anymore. He wouldn't kiss me for days and days. Like, this is making me want to cry, hold on. Yeah, it would be days, and he wouldn't kiss me, and then I would have to be like, hey, you haven't kissed me, like, can I have one? And then he would just give me one. But like, dang, I had to remind you like days later that I wanted a kiss. Like, okay. In the mornings, there was no good morning, there was no like a hug or anything. And I'm not saying, like, I know when you live with each other, you kind of just wake up and do your own thing, but like every morning was the same thing. He would just look for his phone, get on his phone. I would pretend to be asleep next to him, because I'd rather pretend to be asleep than just sit there while he's on his phone and not talk. And it got to a point where the bed felt better when I was in it alone. So I would sit there and just be like, I can't wait for him to get out of the bed and go to his game room, or go to the living room, or just get out the room. Like, that's how bad it got, literally. And I never told him that, so that's gonna be news to him if he hears that. But yeah, I felt better when I was in the bed by myself. It also got so bad that I was actually happy when he would leave the house too. I used to hate it because I didn't like being by myself, but it got to the point where I was just happy that he would go out. I didn't care where he was going. I didn't care who he was with. And old me would have been like, where are you going? You didn't even tell me you were leaving. Like, honestly, once I heard the door shut and knew he was leaving, I was just like at ease, because I finally had like time to breathe. The tension was broken. I always felt like I was just walking on eggshells around him, because at that point I didn't know if anything that I would say would get him mad. So I'd watch every word I say, because like I said, I didn't know what would trigger him or start an argument, because a lot of times he would take my words out of context and it would start an argument, and then it would just go bad from there. So I began to also be silent, because I felt like me talking just caused problems and I was ruining the relationship by talking. So I got quiet, and then when I got quiet, it turned into me being a boring bitch, and nobody wants a boring bitch that just sits there looking mad all day. But in reality, I didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't know whether to talk to fix it or be quiet to fix it. I didn't know what to do to fix it. So everything I was doing felt wrong. I thought I was the problem. So I gave him space and let him do his own thing, let him go on his trips, which led to my public humiliation. And I guess I deserved that for being naive, right? And trusting him. Moving forward, fast forward. After the constant name calling, the negative vibes, the lack of affection, the lack of respect, the social embarrassment, I finally just mentally checked out. I mentally checked out after the Miami trip, when I found out through social media that he was with the other girl. I tried to fight mentally checking out, because I knew that meant we were officially done. Because once I stopped fighting for us, there was no one else to keep fighting for us, you know? I was the glue in the relationship. And I was right too, because I stopped fighting a week before everything exploded and ended. I had no energy to argue or to ask where he was going, or why he was always on the phone, or just anything. I felt detached. Like, I just didn't care anymore. I was so numb to feeling like that. Hold on, let me catch my breath. Okay. So after I mentally checked out, when it was time to go to bed or go to sleep, like, I would look at him asleep and feel nothing. I would just stare at his face and be like, what the hell? How did we get here? Like, damn, how did we get here? But I was done being yelled at, you know. I was done being his puppet. I was done carrying the weight of Divine and Bree's relationship on my back, pretty much. My private life was never private. My tears were filmed for content. At my lowest, I had a camera in my face forcing me to act a certain way, and he never tried off camera. Everything was a show for him. He used my pain and it turned it into a reality show for the world, literally. And I wanted the breakup to be private. I didn't post anything, I didn't degrade him, I didn't destroy his items, I didn't call the cops, I didn't bash him on social media. I just continued living, and like, I was moving forward. I didn't want anything to be public. I wanted everything to be quiet. So basically, I watched him fall out of love with me. Sorry, I keep looking down. It's just, I wrote all my thoughts to make it easier, because if not, I'll ramble. So yeah, I watched him fall out of love with me, and I knew he didn't love me anymore. And of course, he cared about me, but he wasn't in love with me anymore. Waking up every day and knowing that like it tore me into pieces. So I started finding like my style. I tried starting new things to maybe spark the interest that he like used to have in me when we first met, because he was so in love with me. Like he worshipped the ground I walked on when we first met, you know? And I wanted to, I was trying to figure out how to get him to feel that way again, and it wasn't working. So, because it didn't work, I decided to do it for myself. And then I realized that I fell out of love with myself. And I began to realize that every little negative thing that he ever said about me made me look at me the same way. So I started to hate myself. And I fell into depression. There was one point where I just wanted to give up on everything. And yes, I mean everything. Like, I just didn't want to be here anymore because the pain was so bad. And like, I pushed all my family away and made them think that I was so happy. So I just felt alone, literally. I felt so alone. And I have no privacy. And the person who I thought would protect me from the world exploited me to the world. He exploited my pain to the world while I was at my lowest. Filmed me packing my stuff, leaving. And while he was doing all that, I was still trying to figure out how to save us, like an idiot. And what was he doing? Moving on overnight, replacing me overnight. Truth is, he just didn't want to be with me anymore, and that's okay. So, in conclusion, I am happier than I've ever been since I left. Talking about this is obviously emotional because it's fresh, it happened. But I also cried so much during the relationship that I haven't really cried since we split up. Like, I've been so happy and laughing and just, you know, surrounded by my family, constantly distracted, really. I feel like I made the right choice and I'm at peace with my decision. Like I said, my family and friends have been by my side every step of the way, and it's made it 10 times easier for me. And the support that I've received from them and all of you, it just leaves me speechless because there's no way I can repay you guys for all that. So just know, remember they say the one who stays single for a while after the relationship is the one who loved the hardest. And I guess we all know who loved the hardest here. So this is my story, and I hope it can help the next girl out there struggling. And it won't be easy, but you can do it. And I promise that there is someone out there ready to give you the world, literally, without you having to tell them to either. So thanks for watching, and this chapter is now closed and done.